be able to see my screen? Can you share? Can you see my screen right now?
Yes, we can.
Okay, so
Can.
again, good morning, everyone. What they call this, magandang umaga, for the Philippines, from the Philippines. So, my name is Lobby. I'm the Regional Director for Southeast Asia of Global University System North America. So, I'm currently representing around four institutions for GUS North America, and one of them is Avila University, Arizona, and of course, GUS Medical and Veterinary Schools. Okay, so let me start first with Avila University, Arizona. So again, Avila University, Arizona, we currently have around two campuses. We got the Kansas campus and the Arizona campus. The Arizona campus is being managed and operated by Gas University North America. Okay, I'm gonna go straight directly to the programs that I hopefully would be able to change what they call this, how we see the USA and pretty much help when it comes to the healthcare sectors. Okay, so we have this MBA, okay, for healthcare administration for nurses. Our target here are registered nurses who actually finish their bachelor degree program. Okay, so what they call this, let me give you a background. We have this institutional partner. They are pretty much a placement partner or a manpower agency. They went to us because Avila University is actually known as a nursing school in America. Okay, so they told us, hey, we have loads of opening for what they call this for nurses in America. They really have like bad shortage when it comes to nurses in all the healthcare facilities in America. So they got our help and they told us, can we promote this in Asia? We call this, we need loads of, nurses, and the America could not be able to produce the nurses that they required right now. Okay, so that's pretty much the background regarding this program. Okay, so again, a bit of like, a background regarding this. It's a master degree level. So it means that we need students who finish their bachelor degree. It's an on campus, so we need the students in America to go to our campus. Our start date is August, January, and May, and our program is a 16-month program, so it's 1 year and 4 months total. Okay, so what are the benefits for our students? Studying in our what they call this MBA in healthcare administrations. Of course, what they call this, they could be able to work part-time 20 hours per week under the curricular practical training. So again, throughout the whole program, day one, they could be able to work part-time 20 hours a week. So, like for example, what if a nurse, okay, in Indonesia, it's already like an NCLEX passer in America. Okay, the average salary per hour of a nurse in America is around $40. Okay, $40, and in a month, if they could be able to work as a nurse part time, they're already at an NCLEX passer in America. That's already $3,200 in a month. Just imagine, this is just a part-time job. I know for a fact that the average salary of nurses in Indonesia right now is around 300 to 600 US dollars. That's a full-time nurse salary there in Indonesia. But in America, a part-time job, they could be able to earn around 3,200 US dollars already while studying on their MBA program. Okay, what if they're not yet an NCLEX passer? Like for example, a caregiver in America, a stay-in caregiver in America, in the healthcare facilities there, they could be able to get a salary of around how much? Per day, it's around 500 to 600 US dollars per day. So that's pretty much their salary the whole month in Indonesia, right? What they call this. But that's pretty much a 1 day salary in America. So, what they call this, it's a huge turnover, right? When it comes to their income. Okay. Then after they finish their program, okay, they're eligible to have an OPT up to 3 years. So, they could be able to work full time for 3 years, okay, after they finish their master degree level in Avila universities. And the average salary of a nurse in America right now, a regular nurse, right, is around 120,000 US dollars. So just imagine if you're gonna convert it to an Indonesian ringgit, how much would it be like, what they call this, the change when it comes to their local salary to a US dollars. Okay, and what's wonderful about this program, our students could be able to apply for the green card if they're qualified already. Okay, there are three what you call this. Actually, there are around four requirements for them to get a green card. As a registered nurse in America. One is they need a bachelor degree. So if they already have a bachelor degree, it's already credited towards the green card. A 2 years job experience. The 2 years job experience, any work experience around the world, not in the what they call this, not just in America. So if they are already working as a nurse in Indonesia for 2 years, that is already counted towards their green card. And the most difficult part of getting a green card is actually getting finding a job offer in America. And what's so wonderful about our program, we have a placement partner. Their name is Florence. Florence is one of the biggest manpower agency for nurses in America. So once they graduated from Avila University, they got their accreditations in America, passed the NCLEX, okay, they'll be able to get a job offer or a job placement from our partner agency. So that means that our students could be able to apply for their green card during their OPT programs. So imagine, right, what they call this. This is like the fastest, pathway for Indonesian, what they call this, nurses to become a green card holder in America. And again, the salary potentials, what they call this, the quite difference with the current salary of nurses in Indonesia. Okay. And our total tuition fee is only 21,000 US dollars. So again, 21,000 US dollars for the whole program, 1 year and 4 months. And what's so beautiful about America is like, especially for Avila University, there's no deposit, there's no application fee. Guys, no deposit, no application fee. The only, what I call is fees that they're supposed to pay is 535 US dollars towards their student visa. Okay? So the only time they're gonna pay their tuition fee is after they get their US visa or their F1 visa or their student visa for America. Okay? And what wonderful about Avila University is they don't have to pay the whole fees. The their payment terms is only one they're just gonna pay the per term basis compared to the whole other programs, compared to other institutions in America. So ranging around 6,500 to 5,500 per term. Okay. Our class schedule currently right now is only like twice a week, twice a week, one day, half day, or, half day. It's going to be a face to face, and another day online, also half day, 4 hours a day. Okay. And, what you love about Arizona, okay, it's a low cost of living compared to other destinations in America. Like for example, for California, the rent there is around 2,000 to 3,000, right? But in what they call it in Arizona, they could be able to rent a house around 900 to 1,200 a month. If they wanted to save money, they could be able to rent a room, which ranges around 400 to 600 US dollars. Okay. But if you're going to see their potential salary, on a part-time basis, okay, it's around 3,200, right? So they could be able to pay their cost of living. They could be able to save for their what they call this, for their tuition fee as well, okay? And With this program, they could be able to bring their dependents, okay? The kids could be able to study for free. The dependent husband, what they call this, they could be able to come with them or, the spouse. And but the only negative thing is like the spouse couldn't be able to work in America, but under an F2 visa. But what's wonderful about America, as long as they have a lawyer, you know that, right? They could be able to change their status and, for the spouse to be able to work while they're studying in America. And another thing is like for your students that doesn't have or your applicants that doesn't have any NCLEX, they could be able to we have an NCLEX partners that could be able to help them prepare for the NCLEX examination. So in summary, this is a good program for your nurses in order for them to be able to change their economic standing, right? What they call this while studying, they could be able to work part-time. After they finish their studies, they have 3 years to stay in America because our program is under STEM. Okay, so the average salary of nurses is around 120,000 US dollars. And as I mentioned earlier, we got a placement partner or a manpower agency that could be able to get our nurses, okay, um, excuse me, a job offer so they could be able to apply for their green card while still during their OPT programs, okay? So the question is like, can we be able to find jobs for the nurses that, pretty much gonna apply for this Avila program, okay? This is the current nursing shortage of America right now. As in right now, not 5 years not from now, not 10 years from now. For registered nurses, they currently need around 260,000. Imagine 260,000 nurses right now, okay? For practical nurses, around 94,000, okay? And there are several categories of nurses. Currently, the current demand for nurses or the nursing shortage is around 500,000. Okay, 500,000 nurses that America needs right now, and then no matter what they do, the America cannot produce that kind of nurses. Okay, that numbers of nurses. So that's the reasons why there are, requiring, they're requesting for foreign nurses to go to America to be able to fill up the gap with what the gap regarding their nursing shortages. Okay. And this is a nursing shortage when it comes to per state in America. California, which is like the neighbor of Arizona, they need around 42,000 nurses. In Virginia, 25,000. So why am I showing this data? It's because during their OPT, our students could be able to transfer anywhere in America as long as there's a nursing shortage there, if they have family anywhere in the state in America, or what they call is they could be able to go to a state with the highest paying what they call salary for nurses. So again, during the OPT, the 3 years that they could be able to work full time, they could be able to transfer anywhere in the USA. Okay. So what are the reasons why there's a nursing shortage in America? Number one, it's the aging populations. Okay. Um, um, they have one of the highest or the fastest, what they call this, aging populations in the world. And their birth rate is very, very low right now, right? I think it's a global trend. We're in like, young people, decided, what they call this, not to have kids or delayed what they call this, having kids and stuff like that, right? So that's pretty much the reasons why the birth rate are very low, okay? But number two is the most, the glaring thingy that that they're facing right now. 50% of US nurses right now are over 52 years old. So imagine over 1 million nurses in America are over 52 years old. So it means within 10 years these nurses will be retiring. Over 1 million nurses, over 50% of their nurses will be retiring within 10 years, not including the current nursing shortage. So it means that within 10 years, they need over 2 million nurses to fill, okay? And I was saying earlier, it's gonna be difficult for them to fill the gap for the nursing shortage. one of the big reason is they have a nursing faculty shortages. Okay, so the reason is this is like, in the hospital alone there are nursing shortages. Okay, so why do they have to, what they call this, the why do they have to go to a teaching positions when they could be able to earn more as a nurse in America? Okay, and what's so wonderful about our program? It's a master degree level. Do you know that, what they call this? If they finish a master degree there, they take the CNA exam. They could be able to teach as a faculty on those nursing school. So we make the positive a negative thing when a negative thing to a positive thing for our students. Okay, so they don't just have to stay in the hospital, they could be able to teach as well in order to fill the gap of the nursing shortages, both in the hospital and, of course, in the what they call this, in the academe as well. Okay, so what is an EV3 visa? Okay, so it's a green card visa. This EV3 visa is actually an employer sponsored. So again, there should be an employer that's gonna sponsor them permanent residency or a green card pathway for foreign professionals. Okay, so again, like a nursing graduate from Indonesia. So what's so wonderful about this EV3 visa is like it's not just for nurses. It could be for physical therapy, medical laboratories, okay, occupational therapies, or any bachelor degree. So again, an EV3 visa is for any bachelor degree holder. So what are the requirements? They need a bachelor degree holder. So I bet a lot of your applicants are bachelor degree holder. 2 years job experience. So again, it's a job experience in any part of the world, not just in America. It could be in Indonesia, it could be in the Middle East, it could be in Malaysia, anywhere. It is counted towards their what they call this green card applications. Okay. And of course, as I mentioned earlier, the most difficult is the job offer. Okay. So the job offer, as you know, during my presentations, I said that we have a placement partner that could be able to help our students get a job offer as long as they're already what they call this, a registered nurse in America, or they already passed the NCLEX exam there. So, while preparing for their NCLEX exam, what they call this, they could do it while they're finishing their master's degree. They only have like 2 days classes in a week, so they have all the time in the world to be able to finish their NCLEX. And so after they finish our program, okay, they could be able to apply for the green card. Okay. This is the highest paying countries for nurses. Okay. Currently, the highest paying, countries are Switzerland, Luxembourg, and the USA. Okay. What they call this, and what they call this, and the USA is the only English speaking countries on the top five of this country. So imagine the America is the only English speaking country. So it means that our students won't be able to have the difficulties, learning a new language. They're more affable towards English right now. So, very little adjustment. Okay. So this is the currently the an example of the average salary of a nurse in California, because California is the highest paying state in America for any medical professional, especially for nurses. So imagine, okay, the current average salary of a nurse in California right now is 137,000 US dollars. Okay. So 137 US dollars in a year. Okay. Not including what they call this overtime pay, hazard pay, night differentials. It could go as high as 200,000 US dollars in a year. So how much is the salary of a nurse in what they call this in Indonesia per year right now? We're talking maybe around 5,000 to 6,000 US dollars, right? In a year. Okay, so imagine here their salary The basic one, no night differential, 137,000 US dollars. And I know that you have a surplus. Indonesia has a surplus of nurses right now. I think that your government are actually encouraging your healthcare professionals to seek employment outside the country because of the surplus of the nurses. So, oh my gosh, this is like, a good opportunities for our medical professionals, right? Like our nurses. Okay. So the average salary of nurses when they have their specialty, like for example, a nurse anesthetics could be able to earn around 250,000 US dollars. If you're gonna include around if you're gonna include their night differentials, their overtime pay, their hazard pay, it could go as high as 300 to 350,000 US dollars in a year. So these are like what you're gonna offer your applicants, your nursing applicants, so they could be able to change their life, their family life, diba? And their whole village life. I bet that most of our foreign working professionals are helping the whole village or their whole family. Okay, so let me give you a background regarding Avila. Avila has been there for over a century already. Okay, we started in 1916. Our name was actually Saint Teresa Academy. Okay, because this is Saint Teresa of Avila. If you're Catholic, Saint Teresa Avila is one of the most popular saints. So she's known, to be she's really known to be like, to take care of the sick, right? So Avila University is known as a medical program school. We're known as a nursing school in the USA. Okay. So we are located in Phoenix, Arizona. Okay. So Phoenix, Arizona is the new Silicon Valley of America. You know that the Silicon Valley is actually San Francisco, but it's so congested, it's so expensive, no more space for new technologies or new companies. So a lot of them is actually going towards Phoenix, Arizona. Okay. So we are located in Goodyear, Arizona. Okay. It's pretty much a suburbs of Phoenix. From the center of Phoenix, we're pretty much around 15 to 18 minutes away. So very, very near what they call this, the downtown area. Okay. So what are the programs that we have right now? So again, we got an MBA for healthcare administrations, particularly for nurses. But then again, anyone who has a bachelor degree. So guys, anyone that has a bachelor degree could be able to apply for this MBA program. Okay. We also have an MBA program for project management. So what's so wonderful about this? Any bachelor degree, okay, it doesn't matter what they call this, they're teachers, they're police, they're into business, they're IT, there's engineering, even music or whatever, literature, psychology, they could be able to apply for the MBA for project management. So again, any bachelor degree could be able to apply for the MBA in project management because it's all about leadership skills, right? It's all about handling people, handling a project, handling a company. And again, all industry needs leaders. All industry needs project management, okay? Project managers. So again, any bachelor degree, they could be able to apply for this program, okay? So we also have a master's degree in information technology, like for example, data science, artificial intelligence, and business analytics. As I mentioned earlier, Arizona, Phoenix is the new Silicon Valley of America. So when it comes to this, what they call these programs, we know for a fact that they won't have difficulties finding a jobs after they finish their program in Avila. Okay, in what they call this, in summary regarding all these programs, all of them are under STEM programs. So all our students could be able to work part-time, 20 hours a week while they're studying. All of them are eligible for an OPT or up to 3 years. So they could have their optional practical training for up to 3 years wherein they could be able to work full-time. And of course, all of them are eligible to apply for a green card as long as they got a bachelor degree, a 2 years job experience, and a job offer in America. So imagine what they call this compared to other destinations right now, right? What they call this, America, they don't have any age limit towards permanent residency. America doesn't have any medical, what they call this, medical exam. One of the most, what they call is straight to the point, what they, applications for permanent residency. There's no point requirements, no age requirements, no other requirement, out of this world requirements. All they have to do is a bachelor degree holder, 2 years job experience, and a job offer in America. And they could be able to stay there. They could be able to get their family. They could be able to apply for a citizenship after they what they call this accumulated whatever they need to requirements they need to apply for a citizenship or a permanent residency in America. Okay. So this is an example of the class schedule when it comes to our MBA program. It's a 2-day program. It's a 2-day class in a week. So on a Monday, it's an in-person classes, 8:30 to 12:30, and Tuesday is an online class. So they only have to go to the school for once a week. They only have to go to campus once a week. What they call this, and the other day it's simply an online. So they could be anywhere near in Arizona. They could be in what they call this California. They could be in Nevada or Los Angeles, which is both our neighbor, or Utah, right? And just go to classes once a week in Arizona. Okay. This is our tuition fee. This is the computations of our tuition fee. Our tuition fee for our whole program, for our all program is 27,000 US dollars. So again, for the whole program, 27 US dollars. That is already including the international health plan or a health insurance, which is what they call this cover for the whole program for the 1 year and 4 months already. If our students are registered nurses, guys, if our students are registered nurses, we have a 6,000 scholarship for them. That's the reasons why their tuition fee for the whole program is 21,000. So again, if they are registered nurses, what they call this, applying for healthcare administrations, okay, so they have a 6,000 scholarship, so their tuition fee is only around 21,000 for all the other programs. Like for example, what if it's a nurse, they're not registered nurses? What if they're into IT, other programs or project management? We have a scholarship for them. 3,000 automatic scholarship. What they call this their tuition fee, net tuition fees, net scholarship is around 24,000 US dollars only. We have additional scholarship depending on their GPA. So again, depending on their GPA, we have additional scholarship of 500, 1,000, 2,000, 3,000. On an average, a students could be able to get around, will have a net tuition fee of around 22,000 to 23,000 US dollars. Not bad, guys, right? So it's a 1 year and 4 year program. Okay. So what are the admission requirements? It's very easy, right? What they call this, they just need to be a bachelor degree holder, a GPA of 2.75 on a 4.0 scale. So again, 2.75 on a 4.0 scale, very, very low GPA requirements. An IELTS of 6.0. We accept around 5.5 as well. On Duolingo, if your students wanted to take Duolingo, uh, our average band requirement is around 5.5, 105. The lowest is 95. Okay, so imagine very, very low requirements for English. What do you call this? We need a transcript of records as well, the TOR. So that's the only requirements we need, right? A bachelor degree, a 2.75, what do you call this, GPA in a 4.0 scale, an English proficiency of IELTS for 6.0, Duolingo of 105, the lowest is 95, and a TOR. And for I-20, we need a bank statement and of course an affidavit of support if they have a sponsor. Okay. So what is the process? This is pretty much the last slide that I'm gonna have for Avila before I start with our what they call this, the gas medical. So you obtain the what they call this, the I-20 from us. You apply the service of the students, and they complete the DS-160 form, schedule an interview and the biometrics. We have a service for our students. We have an unlimited unlimited mock interview. So guys, we have an unlimited mock interview that student could be able to practice, right? Uh, Regarding their interview for one. So if the student feel that one mock interview is not sufficient enough, they're not confident enough, they could be able to request for unlimited mock interview before they do their mock interview in the US Embassy, okay, in Indonesia. So that pretty much ends my presentations for what they call this for Avila. Let me go for the gas medical, okay? Hold on. So let me give you a background regarding our gas medical school. Okay. Do you know that 95% of our students, again, 95% of our students are US citizen and Canadian citizen. So again, 95% of gas medical school students are US citizen and Canadian citizen. Okay. So what happened here? Okay. In Canada, there's only around 17 med schools, okay? So it means every one seat in that medical school, there's six students vying for that seat, okay? But only one can get in. In America, is 1:3. So every one seat in the medical school in America, what I call is there are three students applying. So what happened to the students that doesn't get in the medical school in the USA and their Canada? They go to our medical schools. Okay, so they go to the medical school of GUS. They go to the Caribbean, okay, medical school. Okay, and I'm gonna explain further regarding right now. But our goal is to make sure, if you're gonna see here, okay, our distinctions are pretty much our visions, our missions is to help students in the USA, in Canada, and again, right now, around the world to become a practicing medical practitioner in America and in Canada. Okay. Currently, right now, it's almost impossible from people from Asia to get a seat in a medical school in Canada or in America because there's simply no slot. In Canada, okay, you need to be a permanent resident or a citizen, okay, of Canada to be able to apply for a medical school there. So it means anyone around the world cannot be able to apply in a medical school in Canada. In America, what they call is there's simply no slot anymore for what they call is for anyone from any part of the world, particularly for Asia, to go to their med school, right? Very, very little slot, okay, for for us in Asia to be able to go to a medical school in America, unless you're a daughter of a president, maybe a billionaire, right? Almost impossible. So this programs allows people from the USA and Canada and right now in Asia to be able to practice as medical doctor both in Canada and the USA. Okay, so again, this is the pathway. Right now, what we call is it allows people from us in Asia, to become a practicing doctor in America and Canada. We know that Canada and America has the highest paying job for doctors. The average salary of a doctors, a starting doctors in America, is around 300,000 US dollars. You know, on an average, it's around 500,000 US dollars to a million US dollars. So imagine, guys, 500 US dollars, 500,000 US dollars to 1 million US dollars in a year. Okay. With my research in Indonesia, a lot of your doctors are having difficulties getting their specialties, right? And we have programs for them. So please listen to my presentation. So currently we have around 8,000 alumni that finish what they call is their programs in the three institutions that or the three medical schools that we have right now. Okay. So this is our locations. Of course, this is Canada. This is North America. North America. This is the United States. This is Florida. Okay. So this is our locations in the Caribbean. We're only 1 hour away from Florida. Very near. So imagine going to Canada will take around 10 to 12 hours, right? But from Florida, the Caribbean is only around 1 hour away. So three institutions right now. Okay. So as I mentioned earlier, what they call this, 95% of our students are US citizen and Canadian citizen. So they go to us because our institutions allow them to become practicing doctor both in America and in Canada. Okay, so one of our institutions is Saba University. Saba University is one of the most popular universities in the Caribbean, okay, that has a pathway for our students to become medical doctors in America and in Canada. Okay, so it is a Dutch island, okay, a Netherlands islands, okay. It is known as like the Harvard, the Oxford of the Caribbean, one of the most difficult med school to enter in the Caribbean area. So that's Saba, Saba universities. Okay, so again, if you have students that are pretty much into what they call is very serious, into very high GPA, you could ask them to go to Saba universities. And we have Medical Universities of America. Medical Universities of America is actually the most affordable med school. So guys, the most affordable med school in North America. So if you have students who are economically challenged, that has very low budget, and they wanted to become a practicing doctor in America, you send them to medical universities of America. And we also have St. Matthew's Universities. Okay, St. Matthew's Universities is located in Cayman's Island. Cayman's Island is a British island. Okay, it is considered as a six-star resort island. So again, it is like very high end, very modern. If our students wanted that kind of life, that kind of surrounding, you send them to St. Matthew's Universities. Cayman's Island is pretty much the billionaires playground, guys. So again, what they call this, a billionaires playground. So high cost of living, what they call this. But again, it's very modern. A lot of your students, if they have money, they wanted to stay on a six-star resort, they go to Cayman's Island to St. Matthew's Universities. Okay, so let me just summarize. Saba University is a very well-known medical universities in North America. Okay, so it is like one of the most difficult universities to go in there, to go in the North America. Medical Universities of America is the most affordable, again, the most affordable medical school in North America. And St. Matthew's University is all about lifestyle, okay? What they call this, if our students wanted to enjoy what they call this, a beautiful resort life, a six-star resort, the Billionaires Playground, you send them to St. Matthew's Universities, okay?
Meet Avilla University School of Medicine, Medical University of the Americas, and St. Matthew's University School of Medicine and Vet.
If you're gonna see here, okay, this is what Cayman's Island. Okay, Cayman's Island, as I said, is a six-star resort. So our school is here, okay? So when they go out of the school, they're already on the beach. So that's how beautiful, the campus is. It's like besides the beach already. And all the students here, all the doctors here, all the professor here are our actual students. As I mentioned earlier, 95% of our students are US citizen and Canadian citizen. So everyone here are actually our student and the professors.
Medicine, where we empower the next generation of practicing physicians and veterinarians. In our rigorous MD and DVM programs, students receive the comprehensive medical education, hands-on training, and individualized support they need to achieve their academic and career practice goals. Our Doctor of Medicine program graduates thrive in competitive residencies across the United States and Canada, from family and internal medicine to surgery, OBGYN, and beyond. They've matched at top-tier institutions like Harvard Plastic Surgery, Stanford University, Yale New Haven Bridgeport Hospital, and the University of British Columbia. Post residency, our alumni practice in the United States, Canada, and internationally. Our Doctor of Veterinary Medicine program graduates are making their mark in leading veterinary clinics and hospitals and research institutions, caring for animals and advancing veterinary medicine in many different communities. We believe in accessibility and opportunity. Join a global network of future medical experts.
Okay. So the question is, why does the US citizen and the what they call this, and the Canadian citizen, why do they study in our universities? Okay. If you guys are familiar with residency, okay. Residency is wherein the students, after they finish their medical school, they take their specialty, okay, their specialists, wherein they specialize on a certain form of medical. Like they could be OB-GYN, they could be surgeon, they could be an orthopedic surgeon, right? So they're gonna take the residency, okay? And this is a residency success rate. It's very difficult for any foreign graduates, okay, to get a residency in America and in Canada. And even in the USA and Canada, it's very challenging for a medical students to get a residency, okay? And this is the what they call this, what our students or medical students in America are looking, or what they call this, for their medical school already. Okay, so this is our residency success rate. In Saba University, our residency success rate is 99%. So imagine, out of 100 students or 1,000 students, okay, or 100 students, 99% of them or 99 of them could be able to get a residency in the USA and Canada. So it means that they could be able to practice in the USA and in Canada as doctors. And during the residency, our students could be able to earn a salary already. It's around roughly around 80,000 to 150,000 in a year. So imagine 80,000 to 150,000 a year. And I know for a fact in Indonesia, a lot of what they call this, your doctors cannot be able to get the residency because not enough hospitals in Indonesia. So again, this is like a good chance for what they call this, medical doctors in Indonesia to get a residency both in America and in Canada and become practicing professionals there. And the beautiful thing about, a US, a North American medical educations, particularly if they could be able to practice in America and in Canada, they could practice anywhere in any part of the world, right? So imagine they could practice in any part of the world. So again, in Saba University, our success rate for residency is 99%. For medical universities of America is 93%, okay? The average residency success rate in America and Canada is 88% to 92%. So it means we're pretty much above average, guys. We're above average when it comes to our residency success rate. And in St. Matthew's universities, it's 100%. So imagine what our success rate when it comes to the residency. So this is our selling point, okay? This is pretty much our selling point when it comes to our students in Canada and the USA. And this is going to be our biggest selling point when it comes to our students in Indonesia, in Asia as well, for them to become a practicing doctors in both countries. Okay, and again, internationally as well. As I mentioned earlier, once you finish your educations in America and in Canada, you could practice in any part of the world. So again, residency success rate. Okay, so let's go to the board exam. Okay, the medical board exam. We call it the U.S. Medical Licensing Exam. So this is the board exam for medical doctors. Okay, so this is our pass rate. There are actually two board exams for our students. Okay, I'm gonna explain that further later. But if you're gonna see this, this is the average, what they call the success rate of all our medical universities. In step one, we got 99% for SABA, 98% for step two. You could be able to compare it with the medical, with the, what do you call this, the board exam in Indonesia for your doctors. Very little institutions achieve 99%, right? Or 98% for any board exam, right? And with Sabah University, we got 99%, 98% success rate, okay? For medical universities of America, it's 98% to 96%, okay? For St. Matthews, 94% or 100%. So guys, this is another, the one of the biggest selling points. Why are you gonna take medical, what do you call this? Just imagine, the USA and Canada has one of the most difficult, okay, board exam in the whole world. And this is pretty much our success rate for our doctors. So you won't have difficulty selling this to your applicants. Okay. It means that 99% or 98% of your clients could be able to practice in America and in Canada. Okay. So again, I mean, there are loads of institutions out there. Okay. Loads of institutions out there that are saying that they could be able to practice in America and Canada, blah, 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 and stuff like that. But the question is, what is their success rate? And this is pretty much our success rate for any medical exam, for the board exam in the USA and Canada. And what's so wonderful about this thing is like, and okay, okay, let's go for this one. What is the reasons why we have this success rate? Do you know that our student to faculty ratio is around 7 is to 1? Guys, our student to faculty ratio is 7 is to 1. So in every, what they call this, one professors, there's only around 7 students. We make sure, because this is pretty much our selling point, right? Our success rate. In any medical school, this is pretty much what they're looking for, the residency success rate and the board exam success rate. If this is the reasons why the US citizen and the Canadian citizen wanted to study in our institutions. Okay, so what are the programs available for your students? We got the Doctor of Medicine program. So again, a Doctor of Medicine program. The Doctor of Medicine programs is actually slated for students who already have a bachelor degree. So again, if your students already have a bachelor degree, because in America, okay, what they call this, they follow a different medical program, medical curriculum compared to Indonesia. I think in Indonesia you got a 6-year program. In America, you got to finish a 4-year bachelor degree before you could be able to go to a Doctor of Medicine program, which is another 4 years. So again, the Doctor of Medicine program is a 4-year program, but requirements is they need to have a bachelor degree with a background in medical programs, like, psychology, biology, chemistry, all those things. They could be able to go directly to the medicine programs as long as they have a bachelor degree. Okay. And we also have the 6-year bachelor degree program, which is very similar to Indonesia. Okay. In America, as I said earlier, you need a 4-year bachelor degree. But with the bachelor degree here, we only made it 2 years. So we call it a 2+4 program. 2 years bachelor degree. Okay, we condense it, we fast track it to a 2-year bachelor degree and a 4-year MD programs. So these are for your students, okay, who just finished their secondary educations, for your student who just finished their high school, okay. So again, so this is for your students who finish high school, so we give them a 6-year bachelor degree programs. So what if your students already finished a bachelor degree, but the bachelor degree is in business, in IT, in engineering, in non-medical programs. Okay, we give them the 5-year, what they call this, MD program. So again, the 5-year MD programs is for students who finish a bachelor degree. Okay, that has no medical curriculum. It's also slated for students who finish, what they call this, a diploma program. If your students finish a nursing program, if your student finish a diploma, okay, in, what they call this, maybe physiotherapy, occupational therapy, as long as they have the prerequisite medical courses, they could enter the 5-year program. And this is also for students who has a study gap of more than 5 years. If your student have a study gap of more than 5 years, we give them a 5-year MD program. And we have a very good program right now for your, what I call this, um for your registered doctors in Indonesia. So if you have already a students who are already a doctor, a medical doctor in what they call this in Indonesia, and they wanted to become a practicing doctor in Canada and in America, we have a pathway for them. It's a 2.5 year pathway. Imagine 2.5 year pathway. We call it the MBBS to MD pathway. So guys, it's only 2.5 years. After they finish this 2.5 year, they could become a practicing doctor both in America and in Canada. Okay, so I'm gonna explain that later. So you have loads of doctors in Indonesia that cannot find residency. Okay, that are not practicing doctors already. You have an oversupply of doctors there. So this is a good pathway for them to be able to practice both in America and Canada, and of course, what they call this, earn around half a million to $1 million US in a year. Okay. So this is the 4 year MD program, what they call this, timeline. Okay. So again, guys, 4 year MD program. Okay. So, what they call this, the basic sciences. Okay. So it's a 4 year MD program. It composes of two components. The basic sciences. Okay. It's a 2 year program, 5 years, 5 semester. They're gonna spend in the Caribbean. So again, the basic sciences, the classroom based, they're going to be spending in the Caribbean for 2 years. Then they're going to take the step one board exam, the USMLE step one, the board exam. Okay. Then after they pass the USMLE step one, they go to America for 2 years. Okay. So after they finish their step one, they go to America for 2 years for their clinical rotations. Okay. So they only be spending 2 years in the Caribbean. They take the first board exam. Okay. Then afterwards, they're gonna go to America to do their clinical rotations on all the hospitals there. Both, actually, it's not just America. They could get their electives in Canada as well. So imagine they could both experience USA and Canada medical educations. Okay. So 2 years in the Caribbean for all the classroom base. Okay. Take the board exam, the step one. They go to America for 2 years for their clinical rotations, America and Canada for their clinical rotations. Then after they finish their clinical rotations, they're gonna do the step two board exam, which is the USMLE step two. Then they're gonna do the residency. As I presented to you earlier regarding our residency success rate. It's so difficult to get a residency in America and Canada, and our success rate is around 98%, 99% compared to other institutions. So it means, what they call this, it's almost sure that your students, okay, could be able to become a practicing doctor in America and in Canada. Okay. So after they finish their residency, they're gonna take their specialties, right? What they call this, they could be able to practice their medicine in any part of the world, not just in North America. Okay. So this is Sabah University's. One of our students is Dr. Danjit Lit. Okay, so Dr. Lit, okay, imagine he was a foreigner. Okay, he was a foreigner who apply in Sabah universities. He's an alumni in 2011. Currently, right now, he's a chief medical director of Trillion Health Partners in Ontario. Without going through Sabah universities, there's no way that Dr. Lit could be able to practice in Canada right now. And he's currently, imagine, he is the chief medical director, right? This is one of our proud alumni of Sabah universities that allows people from all over the world to become practicing doctor in the USA and Canada. Okay, and we got Dr. Khan. So again, another foreigner who went through Sabah universities. Okay, so currently right now he's in California. He's a general internist right now. Okay. So again, Dr. Khan, right? So imagine if he didn't went through Sabah University, he won't be able to practice in America and Canada. Okay. So we got the medical universities of Americas. Okay. So we have one of our graduates is Dr. Mahalingam. Okay. He's currently in Kingston, Ontario. He's one of the resident physicians of Queen's Universities. Queen's Universities is the biggest hospital in Canada. So imagine if she didn't went through what they call this medical universities of America, she won't be able to practice in Canada. So again, this is what we're offering our students in Indonesia. Okay. to become practicing doctor in America and in Canada. We made it possible for them. You know what? A lot of you has been in the industry for quite a while. The question is, where do you send your students who wanted to become a doctor in America? None, right? You cannot be able to send them anywhere. What they call is for the longest time, there's no pathway. So that's the reasons why we're offering this pathway in Asia, in Indonesia, to give our students a chance to become a practicing physicians. Okay. So we got Dr. Lynch. Imagine she's currently in New York. She's the chief medical officer of Ryan Health. Ryan Health is one of the biggest healthcare, what they call this provider in the USA. And our Dr. Lynch is a graduate of what they call this Medical Universities of America in 2007 and is currently the chief medical officer. So why are we showing this? We wanted to tell you guys that our graduates are actually in the biggest medical practices all over North America. Okay. We got St. Matthew's Universities, okay? So one of our graduates is Dr. Falconi. She's currently, what we call it, a family physician in Northern Ontario, okay? We got Dr. Patel, okay, a graduate in 2011. He's a cardiologist in Glendale, one of the biggest hospital in Arizona. So again, there are foreigners who become a medical doctors practicing in America and in Canada. So we're showing both our doctors are very successful in Canada and in Canada and in America as well. Okay. So these are the clinical affiliations of students who actually graduate from what they call this Saba University. So again, remember, right? They're gonna spend 2 years in the Caribbean, only 2 years in the Caribbean as a medical doctors, doing their basic sciences there. And after they finish their 2 years, they're gonna go to America. So where do they actually do their clinical rotations? They usually go around California, what they call this Louisiana, Florida, New York, Missouri. So these are they go to different hospital in this location. So they could be able to explore the America, the whole America thing. Okay, so we got the medical universities of America. They're gonna do their clinical rotations in California, in Canada, in Florida, in New York, the biggest state when it comes to any medical program. So, okay. And for St. Matthews, a lot of them are in the West Coast, Florida, Illinois, Virginia, New York, Pennsylvania. So those are the places they're gonna do their clinical rotations. And for Canada, they're gonna take their minor. They could be able to take their minor subjects in Canada or their minor electives in Ontario. So again, it means that our students, okay, could be able to experience practicing as medical doctors in Canada and in the USA as well. Okay, that's the reasons why after they finish their programs in GUS Medical School, they could become practicing doctor on both North American countries. Okay. Okay. So when it comes to the residency, as I mentioned earlier, residency it's the part that they're gonna take their specialty that they became specialists on, on any field they want. They could be family medicine, psychiatry, anesthesiologies, neurologies, general surgery. So this is our locations. A lot of students actually goes to New York. Imagine 20% of them goes to New York, okay? To what Another one would be in Florida, in California, in Ontario. So those are like the favorite locations of our students when it comes to their residency. Okay, so a lot of our students, after they finish their medical school, they go into the specialists. A lot of them go into internal medicine, family medicine, psychiatries. Okay, so general surgery. Those are the specialists that a lot of our students are actually going into after they finish their program. Okay, so what we call the match day. If a lot of you are watching Grey's Anatomy, the famous US what they call this TV show, right? For medical program, for doctors. Okay, so they have this match day wherein they match a hospital to a medical graduate. This is a big thing in America and in Canada. So again, match day, it's a big thing because it's very difficult to get a residency in America or in Canada. Okay, so this is pretty much like a party for any medical doctors in North America. Okay, so let's go to the tuition fee. Guys, let's go to the tuition fee. Okay. As I mentioned earlier, the Medical Universities of America is the most affordable medical school in America, in North America. Our tuition fee is only 172,000 US dollars net of scholarship. Okay. If you're gonna calculate it, it's simply around 28,000 to 35,000 US dollars in a year. Again, 28,000 US dollars to 35 US dollars in a year. That's pretty much the tuition fee that you send someone to Australia on a bachelor degree, or you send someone, it's actually a bachelor degree going to UK or going to Canada, or going to America, right? But this is already an MD program. Those students will be graduating a bachelor degree. But if you send it to us on a medical degree, what is the salary difference? So we are one of the most affordable, what they call this medical institutions. Okay. So imagine instead of sending them to Australia as a bachelor degree, why don't you send them to us as a medical doctor already? For Sabah University is around 218,000. St. Matthews is 214,000. Guys, very, very affordable, right? Very for any medical program. This is one of the we are pretty much the most affordable that allows them to become medical doctors in America and in Canada. So if you're gonna compare it to other destinations, this is the most cheapest, okay, that that allows them to become practicing doctors, okay, in North America. So this is the comparisons, okay, when it comes to the top medical schools, right, in the Caribbean. As you can see, we're pretty much the most affordable. So you cannot go anywhere, right? Medical Universities of America and even St. Matthews or Sabah Universities, we are the most affordable medical universities that allows our students to become practicing doctors in America and in Canada. Okay, you got to be careful what they call this when it comes to the Caribbean medical schools. A lot of them are offering the program, but you have to ask them, can they be able to practice in America and Canada? In the Caribbean, there's only around 10 med schools that allow students to become practicing doctor in America and Canada. Okay, and the three of them is Sabah University, St. Matthews, and MUA universities. Okay, our three universities are considered the tier one universities or the la creme of the la creme, right? The top universities were in the Caribbean. So there's only 10 of us, okay, out of 80 universities in the Caribbean that allows them to be able to practice in America or in Canada. And three of them, I'm handling them. And we are the most affordable when it comes to those institutions. Okay, let's go to the application process. Okay, you apply your students what they call this on our what they call this 2 years study. Okay, they're gonna be an interview when it comes to our students. Okay, part of the process, we wanted to make sure what they call this, our directors will be doing their interview. We wanted to make sure that our students, okay, could be is really passionate to become a doctor because going on a medical field, it's not an easy thing, right? So we wanted to make sure that they could be able to they could, they're passionate about being a doctor. Second, we wanted to assess their English proficiency. We don't have any grades requirements when it comes to English proficiencies, right? But what we wanted to see is our student could be able to speak English or could be able to comprehend English very well. So just imagine, right? This is like these students will be practicing doctor in America. What if they couldn't be able to speak English very well? For example, what if in the emergency room, someone is dying, right? I mean, how do you actually communicate to the to the patient if what they call this, if they could not be able to speak English very well? So, the patient might end up dead before they could be able to translate it to English, right? So we wanted to make sure that the students could be able to speak English, could be able to communicate with their patients, right? So there's really no grades requirements in terms of that. We checked during the interview if they could be able to speak English. As you know, we don't have that much like rejections when it comes to the English requirements so far for our foreign what do you call this applicants. Okay, so we're gonna decide for the scholarship, the assessment and the scholarship. They do the enrollment confirmations and start the MD program. So it's a very easy what they call this process. Okay, so let's go to the admission requirements. Okay, so we need this subject. We need the students to have this subject: general biology, general chemistry, organic chemistry, an English subject, and a TOEFL. Again, the TOEFL is like pretty much unnecessary if the students during their interview could be assessed, right? If that they could be able to speak English quite okay, right? Not very well, but okay. Okay. MCAT is only required for what they call this students coming from America. Okay. Let's go to the 5-year MD program. Okay, so again, let me remind you the 5-year MD programs are for the student that has a study gap of more than 5 years. For the students, what they call is who finish a bachelor degree but not in the medical program. Okay, for the students who has a diploma. Okay, for a student that has an AB programs, international IB program, international baccalaureate thingy, an advanced program there. It's also for the students who had finished a diploma program. Okay, so they could be able to apply, they could be able to get to our 5-year program. So we call it 1+4. So 1 year bachelor, 4 year, what they call this, 4-year MD program. Okay, okay. So our admission requirements is like a transcript of record, two letter of recommendations, and a personal statement. 500 words personal statement why they wanted to become a doctor. Okay, so we got the 6-year program. The 6-year program we call it 2+4. So bachelor degree of 2 years and an MD program for 4 years. That's the reasons why it's a 6-year program. So it's very similar to the 6-year MD program of Indonesia. Okay, so again, it's a fast track program for for the US or for the Canada thingy. So this is for students who just finished high school or secondary education. So again, what they call this, instead of sending them to a bachelor degree in any part of the world, why don't you send them to America and become a medical doctors? Okay. So, we just need again transcript of record, letter of recommendations, and a personal statement. So again, we need a high school diploma here. So that's how it is. A high school diploma, a good English thingy. Okay. So this is the tuition fee for the 5-year program and the 6-year program. So imagine for the 5-year program, okay, it's only 202,000. 202,000 for a 5-year program, guys. Okay? And for the 6-year program, 232,000 for the 6-year program. And both of them, they could become practicing doctor both in America and Canada. As I said earlier, we make it possible at the most affordable that people from Asia could be able to become a practicing doctor in North America. Okay? So a lot of us, like doctors in Indonesia, when they go outside the country, there are very only few countries that accepted their what they call this, their credentials. But if they finish their study in North America, they could be able to practice in any part of the world. Okay. This is one of her doctor, one of our alumni in MOA, Dr. Troy Hamner. Dr. Hamner was actually finished an IT program. His bachelor degree is into IT. Okay, so we gave him a 5-year program. Okay, so he finished his med school in 5 year. Currently, right now, he's in Mayo Clinic. So imagine Mayo Clinic is the number one teaching hospital in the whole world. You could call it the number one hospital in the whole world. And one of our graduates is actually in Mayo Clinic. That's how, this is our product. These are what they call is our students. They're pretty much what they call is in the top medical institutions all over the world. Okay. So let's go to the MBBS to MD program. This is the priority program that I wanted to launch in Indonesia. As I mentioned earlier, a lot of your medical doctors there who finish MD could not be able to get a place for residency. Okay. They could not, get their specialty within Indonesia. They have to go outside the country like Malaysia, what they call it, Singapore, for them to be able to get the residency. So here, we give them a pathway to become a practicing doctor in America. So again, this is for these are for Indonesians who are already doctors. Okay. This is a 2.5 year program. Instead of you guys sending them to, like, for example, what they call is Canada or whatever part of the world, as they couldn't be able to practice there, right? They could be, they may be like, a physician's assistant. They could become like a caregiver. But with this program, 2.5 year program, they could become a practicing doctor both in America and Canada. So again, 2.5 year program. So how the program works? They're gonna go to Caribbean for only 4 months. So again, they're gonna only stay in Caribbean for 4 months. In the 4 months, they're gonna prepare for the USMLE Step 1. So again, 4 months in the Caribbean to prepare for the USMLE for the Step 1 board exam. After that, they're gonna go to America to do their clinical rotation. So imagine only 4 months in the Caribbean and 2 years in America to do their clinical rotation. So they could be able to go to different part of America, different hospital to do their clinical rotations. After they pass their step 2 exam, they are considered a practicing, they are considered a doctor in America. Okay, they're already called doctors in the USA. They could do their residency, they could do their specialty already. So 2.5 year program, they could become a medical doctors in America and in Canada. Okay. So how much is the tuition fee? Actually, this is like updated. It's actually 108,000. Wrong computations. It's 108,000 for the 2.5 year program. The most affordable pathway for them to become medical doctors in America and again all over the world, guys. Okay. So imagine what they call this, the problem of, Indonesian doctor finding residency. We could be able to give them the solutions, the pathway. As I mentioned earlier, almost impossible for them to become practicing doctors in America because their degree are not recognized, right? But with this program, you give them a chance. Okay, I think we got several cases in Indonesia that that saw this program and they felt that this is a good pathway for them. So please, guys, introduce it to your what they call this to your applicants. Okay, so let's go to the visa. This is pretty much the slide. You don't have to worry about the visa in the Caribbean. It's simply just getting an e-visa. Very, very easy. And it's actually the institutions that actually help you get the visa. All you have to do is submit the documents. We just need a passport photos. We need a medical exam, police clearance. Okay, so when it comes acceptance letter, ticket, passport. So that's the only thing that we need from you, and we're gonna apply the visa for your student. So you don't have to worry about visa success rate. Like the visa success rate of Indonesia to Canada is pretty much one. I think 10%, right? Indonesia, what is the success rate for Indonesia? Is very low as well. The same with New Zealand, with UK, with other destinations. But with the Caribbean, with this pathway, it's almost 100%. So you don't have to worry about visa approval rate for your applicant. So thank you so much. I'm turning the floor to Susan. Okay.
Yes, thank you, everyone. Let's see if you guys had any questions in chat box. Let me check. But if you currently have the questions, that's okay, because I'm sorry, Lobby, our time is almost up, and but this is not the end of the session. and if you have any questions or special case to discuss with us, just feel free to let us know. We, as education team, will help you and will assist you with any of your student inquiries. So, feel free to let us know if you have any doctors or nurses in Indonesia who wants to work or study in the US and in Canada. Just let us know. Okay, so Lobby, do you have any more to share before the end of the session?
Thanks, Susan. Thanks, Reta, and to the whole of what they call yes education team, and to everyone. I know it's a long session, right? What they call this. I just have to explain, everything to you. As I mentioned earlier, these two, institutions is pretty much a game changer for everyone, right? Like for example, for nurses in Indonesia, when I went there, I was so shocked that a lot of them were only earning around 400 to 600 US dollars a month, right? And here imagine, what they call this one nurse going to America to be able to earn around 120,000 US dollars in a year. That's gonna change the life of their family. That's gonna change the trajectory of how their life is. And of course, for medical doctors as well. It's very rare that you're gonna find, a medical doctor from Indonesia to become a practicing doctor in Canada and America. And these programs make it possible for them. So please help your countrymen to make their American or their North American dream possible. Thank you guys. Hope to see you soon, right? Thank you, Susan. Thank you, Reta.
Bye
Thank you,
bye.
Lobby. Thank you, everyone. Bye bye.